There's Jenny Simpson. So Jenny was the world champion in 2011 at 1500 meters. She was the #1 ranked runner in the 1500 meters this past summer. She was second in the world in 2013 in the 1500 meter at the World Championships. So as accomplished of a runner as we have in the United States, maybe ever. She's also trained in Boulder, Colorado, under Mark Wetmore. So she was the hometown girl for this race. Everybody in the running world thought she was going to win this race, except me. No. I really thought that Amy and Kellen could beat her on the right day. And I certainly wanted to convey that to them, not in an overbearing way. Like Jim was saying, you can't just constantly talk about something. You shouldn't be talking about the state meet in August, okay? You don't want to be constantly talking about it. But if it came up on a run, and I do like to run with the team quite a bit, I would just say, hey, you're going to be ready. You know, I wanted them to know that they were going to be ready. Then when we got closer to the race, the week of the race, and we started thinking about really how the race was going to go, I just wanted them to know, hey, we're not flying to Boulder to lose. You know, we can win this race, you know. Now, that's easy because I got really good people. I mean, it depends on what winning means to you and your team in that particular scenario. But I like to keep the race strategy fairly simple, okay? Don't overthink it. But I also like to talk about the fact that there's more than one scenario. You know, if you fall into the trap of creating one race strategy, here's the thing. The minute it goes out the window, the minute something else goes on in the race, they freak out. Okay, I was there. Many of you have been there. That's what happens. You picture the race a certain way, then it's not going that way, and it's a disaster. Okay, so for this particular race, I said, look, here's the thing. Jenny is good. We all know that. Okay, you have to at least be aware of the possibility that she might go out and hammer, okay, from the gun and try to just blow this thing wide open. And if that happens, you've got to make a quick decision. Do you feel good? Can you go? Or are you going to sit in the pack? Okay, so that was one scenario we talked about. I didn't think that was going to be the way it was going to go, but we needed to be ready for that just in case. And I said, hey, I don't care. If you go, go. If you feel like you've got it, go. Okay, if you feel like it's too much, sit back. We never know what can happen. You might run her down. Okay, so that was one scenario we talked about. The scenario that I thought was going to happen was that it was going to be a pack. And I said, look, just do me one favor, because women in general, I think, are more like this than men or boys. But especially these two, it's like, please, just don't take the lead for the first lap. Just whatever you do. Can you do that for me, please? So it's a 2K loop in Boulder. And so I said, you know, you absolutely are not allowed, you know, to lead the first 2K. Now, the other thing about race strategy, and this isn't something you necessarily have to talk about with the athletes, you know, ad nauseum to, you know, have them you can overthink it. Okay, don't have them overthink it. I had done the math on what I felt it would take to win the race. I had looked at the results the year before from St. Louis, for some of you who were here, when Shalane Flanagan won the race. Now, Shalane wasn't going to be racing here, so I kind of threw her time out the window because very few people are Shalane when it comes to AK cross country. So what I looked at was Kim Conley's time, who was second place here in St. Louis. And I did the conversion based on altitude, based on 5,000 feet. And I said, I think 27:30 will win this race. So I didn't really talk to them about splits. I didn't have them worry about splits, but I knew the splits. And I knew that I would be able to very closely monitor the pace because of the nature of the 2K loop. So essentially that's low 650s per 2K loop is 27:30. So sure enough, the race goes out, and they are, let me go to this. Yeah, coaching. So now I'm into the race, right? I'm telling a story. So as I see them coming around the first 2K, I'm looking at my watch, and it was 6:52 for the first lap. And they're tucked in, which was great. And so when they came around, I said, stay right there. Stay right there. You know, don't do anything. Stay right there. So as they come around for 4K, I look at my watch, and now it's slowed way down, like over 7 minutes for that lap. And so now I know they're fitter than that because I based the workouts on that 27:30 pace for the whole time, and I knew they could hit it. We did, in fact, and I'll say this, go backwards really quickly to the puzzle. I like the last workout before any event to be pretty race specific. I like that idea of one last chance to get the pace, you know, down. And so that week of the race, we had done 6 by 1200, which sounds hard the week of the race, but I mean, I'm just telling you, I've raced best off of hard work, especially at that distance, 5K cross country, 8K cross country. Marathon is different because there's glycogen storage issues and all these things, so you need a little bit more of a taper. I don't really taper much for a race like this. Maybe bring the mileage down a little bit, but the workout is still, pretty hard. You guys, it's a little different deal because you got to race sectionals and things like that. But anyway, the point is, I don't mind a bit of a hard workout the week of the race. So we did 6x1200 at 27:30 pace, but we did it at 7,000 feet. And they hit it fine and they felt good. So I knew they could run that pace. Anyway, back to the race. So 4K in, they've slowed down. And I'm like standing right there. So I'm saying, hey, we can push now. We can push now. I'm calm. I'm confident. I see a lot of coaches going berserk out there, okay? They don't respond to berserk, okay? You have to give off the feeling that they are in control, that they look good. Jim, always beautiful, relaxed, That's what you want, positive reinforcement out there. I'm loud so they can hear me, so that's good. But anyway, at 4K, I said, we can push now. We can push now. And so sure enough, boom, they're right there. I mean, they were waiting for that. They wanted to go. So Amy and Kellen, boom, straight to the front now. And goddamn, they got a little lead going. So I shoot over to 5K, 1K through the loop, and now they've got about 10 meters on the field, including Jenny. And here's the thing. I don't want Jenny anywhere near them at the end. I mean, anywhere near them. So now I'm like, okay, we got a gap. We got a gap. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So then they come around 6K, and now Amy is pulling away from Kellen, and she's got a sizable lead. So now it's just all about, hey, now you can start to go a little berserk because now there's only 2K to go, So now I'm saying, hey, we are all in, we're all in, let's go, let's go, let's go, we got it. And, so sure enough, she pulls away and she ran, and we had talked about three things. That scenario with Jenny pushing from the front, the scenario of sitting in the pack and waiting, and then we talked about no matter what scenario, we have to run a good last lap. We have to push home. Because, again, I was just starting to work with these people, and I wanted that to be kind of a staple of our group, that we always finish well, And so, sure enough, she runs her last lap at 6:48, which is the fastest lap anybody ran the whole race, wins by 22 seconds. It was awesome. And Jenny, who had fallen into fourth, kicked home like a crazy person and got second. And the fact of the matter is, that's why I love cross country, because on the track, there's no way Amy was going to beat Jenny Simpson on the track. But the cross country has so much strategy to it, and you can beat people if you are tougher and if you make better decisions. Jenny made a very poor decision not covering Amy's move. She could do it. She ran almost the fastest 2-mile ever in the U.S. history the week before on the indoor track. She was very fit. She kicked home like a crazy person. She was very fit. She didn't have the you-know-whats to cover that move, okay? And Amy made that move, and that's how she won the race. Had Amy sat in the pack and let that third lap be over 7 minutes, no way. Jenny wins the race, okay? No way. So race strategy is very important, and I think you need to do a lot of thinking about it, but I don't think you need to over-talk it with the athletes. I think you need to keep it pretty simple for them.